At OCAD University, typography is an important subject. I would argue that typography is at the basis of all graphic design because there's really no other way of visually communicating language except with typography. So in Type 1, what we do, the first type class, is we try and get you to experiment with type, to really see type, and to learn some basic skills on how to manipulate typographic forms and how to use the computer and other methods to create typographic form. We also begin to talk about the conventions of text and how vision works and how how people read, basically. We mostly focus on the Roman alphabet because the Roman alphabet is the one that we use at OCAD and the one that is used for the English language. But we also spend some time looking at other ways of writing. In Type 2, we've become a little bit more sophisticated. We're still concentrating on skills and conventions and learning how type works, but we're asking for more creativity and more independent thought on how to use the typographic skills that you learned in Type 1. And the projects become more visual and become more self-directed. In the later years of typography, and you can, in the second year, you can take Type 3, you can take things like typeface design, you can take printing on the letterpress, if you can find room in the class. They're usually quite popular. And also, the typography that you learn becomes more and more valuable in your other graphic design classes. Typography is a bit like a language, is that you don't learn one thing and forget about it. If you learn a language, you need all those basic aspects that you learned at the beginning, and you just become more sophisticated in how you use the vocabulary and the language itself, and you become more able to express yourself. This is a pretty good analogy for what typography is like. So as we move forward, we start applying our typographic skills that we've acquired into graphic design creativity. And we're not just trying to reproduce what's been done before. We're looking for original, striking ways of using typography that really applies to whatever it is that we're working on. So it's not just running a formula, it's using what you've learned to express yourself with graphic design. And so we do all kinds of things. We do editorial work, we do experimental work, we do creative work, we do work where the letter forms might not even spell words or mean anything. And we experiment with technology. Though we don't do a lot of software teaching at OCAD, we do get you started, teach you what you need to know, and then expect you to carry that forward. And that's what people do. And what we're looking, all this stuff that we're seeing is student work. And you can see there's a big variety here. The way you want to apply your typographic tools will be up to you in the end. So in the beginning, sure, we are giving you exercises that are intended to really bring up your basic skills. But as you move forward, you're going to apply those skills in ways that your instructors have never thought of. So make sure that you take typography seriously. It is the most important part of graphic design. And without typography, you have pictures, really. You have images. They may be lovely looking, but it's not communicating. And graphic design is the art of communication, and typography is what communicates language. So I encourage you, if you come to OCAD, to really pay attention to your typography. Become an expert at the skills, become an expert at the methods of dealing with typography, and become an expert at that cultural communication, whether it be in English or another language. And if you do that, you will be well on your way to being a good graphic designer. Thanks.